What's up? Honor Herman 26 here. I'm here to give you the news, the very unfortunate news that Dr. Death Steve Williams has passed away today. One of the few Americans who could have embraced the very stiff All Japan style and do very well at it, I might add. And this is gonna kind of be a career reflection on Dr. Death Steve Williams. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, but he was a very great wrestler, and a lot of us are going to be very sad to see you go. I know I'm only 17, but still, this is going to mean a decent amount to me by losing somebody that was so good in ring and could be one of the Americans that can go over and challenge a guy like a Kenta Kobashi or a Mitsuharu Misawa and hang with them and learn their style and still be an American, which is very hard to do these days. You don't see many Americans have a big impact on Noah. Not that much. I mean, I think Bison Smith is the biggest one, but it was a lot more tried in the '90s, and only a few succeeded. Steve Williams being one of them. So he was trained by Bill Watts, who was a legendary guy in this business. Let's see some of his career highlight. Oh, he innovated the Oklahoma Stampede, which is basically a power slam where he runs him into the corner, runs him into another corner, then does a running power slam. His finisher was the Doctor Bomb, which basically Eric Stevens does now, but Doctor Dead Steve Williams did so much better, in my opinion. I mean, that's not slighting Eric Stevens at all. He also did the backdrop driver a lot. Some of his managers throughout his careers were Jim Ross, Kevin Sullivan, to name some. He was a Triple Crown heavyweight champion in All Japan once. He is a tag team champion there 8 times. 5 times is probably his best tag team partner of all time, Terry Gordy, who was also passed away. One time with Gary Albright, one time with Vader, one time with Johnny Ace. He won a tournament called the World's Strongest Tag Team League, twice with Terry Gordy and once with Mike Rotundo. Any other promotion? PWI. There's a good one. PWI gave him Most Improved Wrestler of the Year for the year 1985. Tag Team of the Year for 1992 with Terry Gordy, and ranked him number 8 of the 500 best singles wrestlers in 1991 on the PWI 500. In World Championship Wrestling, he was the Tag Team Champion one time with Terry Gordy. He was an NWA World Tag Team Champion one time with Mike Rotunda in the Mid-Atlantic version. He was the United States Tag Team Champion in the NWA with Calvin Sullivan one time. And now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He had a 5-star match, probably his best match of all time, with Kenta Kobashi in 1993, August 31st to be exact. I'll put the link to that part 1 of that match in the description box because that match has to be seen. That's just my personal favorite match. He also had 2 more 5-star matches, teaming with WWE executive Johnny Ace in both of them. One of them was in 1995 against Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi. Another one in 1996, again with Johnny Ace against Mitsuharu Misawa and Jun Akiyama. And that match was also given Match of the Year for that year, which according to this did not happen for either of his matches. The 1983 one or the 1995 one. He was Most Improved, which in the Wrestling Observer newsletter as well in 1985. He was Rookie of the Year in 1982, and Tag Team of the Year as well for 1992 with Terry Gordy. Any other promotions that I can? Not really. Nothing big. Or nothing that is very stands out. He went to the University of Oklahoma in 1981 after he was a All-American there. He was also an amateur wrestler, and was an All-American at that as well. He debuted in 1982, which I already said. His final match in America was August 15th in Colorado Springs, Colorado for Asylum Championship Wrestling. And then, which he won. Then his final match in total was, it doesn't say here who it was against, but it says it was in October 25th in Tokyo, Japan. And then today he died from complications with cancer. He did have a brief MMA career. He said he fought in K1 for I think once, and went 1-0. I might be wrong on that, but that's what I think. Just Dr. Death will be very, very sorely missed. Just Misawa this year, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and just in 1 year. I mean, Dr. Death was a very, very good performer, one of Kenta Kobashi's best rivals of all time, along with Misawa and Stan Hansen. Probably Steve Williams, in my opinion, will be best known for his tag team, along with his rivalry with Misawa, with his tag team with Terry Gordy. Just another one of the guys who can go into Japan and learn their style and do very well in it. And just those two together did very, very well and gave me a lot of memories that I will never forget anytime soon. He was 49. He would have turned 50 next May, so it's just tough to do these kind of videos. I mean, I don't have his. I mean, when I did, the only other video I've done like this was the Misawa one, and I had a lot more memories of Misawa. But still, Steve Williams did give me a lot of memories. And if it wasn't, and we might not have had. Some people that might not realize this, but without Steve Williams, we might not know Stone Cold Steve Austin as Stone Cold Steve Austin, because Steve Austin's real name is Steve Williams, and that's what he was going to have his real name as, and we wouldn't have gotten to the point where he's Steve Austin now. He probably would have, if it wasn't for Steve Williams, Dr. Death, we might not have had Steve Austin as we know him today. I might be a little bit of a stretch there, but because Steve Williams and Steve Austin went through the same territory to begin with, and they didn't want to confuse the fans of having a Dr. Death Steve Williams and then another Steve Williams coming along. Well, Dr. Death in the United States had a lot more accomplishments. He was in the WWF for a bit of time. He was in the Brawl for All, I guess, in 1998, it says here. He helped out Harley Race for a little bit of time. In 2007 with his World League Wrestling promotion. And also his decision to retire earlier this year in 2000. Well, in October in his final match had to do with the death of Misawa. So I guess hopefully we don't. That's because how do I phrase this? Well, a lot of the people in Japan after Misawa's death, that kind of changed wrestling in Japan somewhat, and influenced a lot of guys to maybe tone it down a little bit. Like Akira Taue isn't as wrestling as much now. Steve Williams was decided in his career. Kobashi isn't really wrestling as much. I mean, Kawada hasn't wrestled for Noah since his tag match, which was awesome. Yeah, I guess some other guys can tell you more in-depth stuff about Steve Williams, because they were kind of there for the for his career when he really was not when I really haven't been a fan for most of for the majority of his career, and some of the guys have watched a little more of his All Japan stuff. I basically watched everything that has been called amazing or more. So there's that. Dr. Steve Williams, you will be missed. I was going to do a Clash of the Contenders review, but I had to do this first. That review will be coming soon. Dr. Death, you'll be missed. I'll see you guys later.